Okay, so I don't have a whole lot on the whiteboard because I'm gonna be trying to walk you through some stuff. Okay, and I want you to take notes. All right, I want you to take notes. So get your pad and your pencil or your little ink stick or whatever you're using and get ready. So I'll give you a minute while I drink this coffee because it was asking for me to do that. Alright, so you pause the video for a minute, got your writing utensils and your notepad. So I named this quote unquote secrets of the Bowdrill, right? But you know, there are no secrets. There are no secrets. It's just knowing the proper procedures, okay? And what to do, okay? So if you don't know what to do, of course you're going to have issues, all right? So one of the big things that everybody is hung up on is wood selection. There's the big question mark there. What kind of wood do I use to do that? Well, all wood burns, man. All wood burns. Now, it depends on what wood you got around you. You know, you want to get some dead wood. I prefer softwoods. You know, I prefer softwoods. So if you find some dead softwoods, but not punk or extremely rotted wood, but it has to be dead, okay, and nice and dry. You know, is that old saying, bone dry, right? So I prefer softwoods like, you know, willow and things like that. So willow is readily available for me, so I often use that as an example. Now, you can get you a book and you can study up on woods, okay? And that will be something for you to get your little nature notebook and write in there. Okay, these are the preferred woods in my area. Okay, so you want to do that for your area, right? Because everybody's environment is different. Your environment is different wherever you go. This is one of the things that I had learned a long time ago. Is that if you could survive somewhere, you could survive anywhere. You just change up the things that are pertinent to that environment. And this fellow in Canada picked up on that, okay? And he was exactly right. So kudos to him, as they say kudos, right? I never say kudos, but that's about the, you know, hats off, right? So, yeah, he figured it out. So, we want to select some good wood. I like softwood, okay? Your bow and drill, hearthboard and spindle has to be properly built, okay? And I'm going to talk about that. So, because this needs a little bit more discussion than your wood selection, believe it or not. Because when you properly build your hearthboard and your spindle, okay, then you're on your way to success. You're on the pathway to success. So your hearthboard should be around a thumb thick. Got it? Write that down. Your hearthboard should be about a thumb thick. Your spindle should be, you know, pretty good diameter. Maybe like a nickel to, you know, or so. Right? Like a US made nickel. Okay? So it's about that big around. Okay? Doesn't have to be super thick. Doesn't have to be super thin. Alright, super thin ain't gonna last. When you make your hearthboard, you are going to make a small divot with your knife. And the way, how do you measure that? The way you measure that is you're going to take your spindle, right? Here's your hearthboard. Here's your hearthboard. I'm looking at it from the top down, right? Looking at it from the top down. I'm gonna look at my hearthboard. I can have that down over here if I want, or I can have it a little bit more inwards. This gives it a little more base to give you better control, right? So what I do is I take my spindle and I'm going to put it just inside the edge. The edge of my spindle will be just inside the edge of the hearthboard, okay? And then I'm going to figure out about where the center of the spindle is, and then I'm going to just give a little scratch with my knife there, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to drill a small divot right there. Okay? So that's in preparation to burn in, you know, where my spindle is going to go to do the business. Right. So my hearthboard is ready for another stage. So I selected the proper thickness hearthboard. I've got the proper wood, I've got the proper thickness. Now I've decided where my spindle is going to be, right? And so set that aside. Now my spindle, you know, my spindle, I want my spindle at a comfortable height so that I can have my bearing block or my knife bearing block, right? Because I have Bowdrill divots in my knives. Okay, I want a comfortable height, right? So I can hold that against my shin vertical. So that's how long I want my spindle, right? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut it that long. And then, so this, I say I'm going to cut it this long or that long. I'm not giving you inches or centimeters because every person's height is different. Okay? So if I say cut it 10 inches long, no, it's going to be no good for a short person. Right? But the spindle, you want to get the spindle ready. So in this next video, I'm going to show you how to get the spindle ready, because I do some drawings and stuff. This is the old video that I'm going to clue you into. Okay, so I'm re-uploading it. That one will tell you the spindle. You want to take your knife and you want to plane, as in plane like woodworking, right? You want to cut ridges. So flats and ridges all the way around the spindle, from way up here to all the way to the end. Okay? And what that does is when you do your bow drill, your cordage gets a bite on the spindle. Helps to move it. Alright? And what else? So at the end of the spindle, I talk about a revelation that I had a few years ago about the spindle. Okay, so I did an update to the way I had been doing it, right, which worked out very well. So that will be in the next video. So the next video will talk about getting your spindle all prepped. So when we talk about hearthboard and spindle, we have to think of the length, okay? The length of the spindle, the thickness of the hardwood, the ridges on the spindle, the ridges and flats. We got to think about burning in our hearthboard, and we got to think about the cut in our hearthboard. So after we burned it in, Okay, just gonna put that there. Don't worry about the center anymore. After we burned it in, there's a little, actually not quite to the edge there. After we burned it in, all right, I'll bring this over here more. After we burn that in, we want to just cut a little bit in there. Now, we want to make that like a waterfall. We're not just going to cut it straight down. Okay? A lot of people do that. I see that all the time. They cut that slot, that piece of pie out straight down like an angle. Don't do that. You want to cut this. You want to cut it towards the middle of the divot, but not quite. And you want to cut it at an angle. You want that to be like a water slide. I'm gonna show this from the side. I did this from the side in the next video too. I'm gonna try to do it a little bit easier to see here. So there's my board. Now my divot is here, okay, where I did my burn-in. So my burn-in's right there. Now, my burn-in is right here. Right? So what I'm going to do is I want to cut that opening at an angle that comes like that, like a water slide, okay? Because when I do my Bowdrill, I want that wood dust to slide down and gather over here. Alright? That's what I want to do. And I don't give a crap about air. Okay? A lot of people, they always say, oh, you need air under there. I don't need any air under there. When I start spinning this thing like mad, I'm creating a whirlwind right there. So we'll come to the next point real quick, is why don't we need a source of air underneath there? We just need an opening for that powdered wood to slide down there, that charred wood. We just need a slide, okay? To slide down there. We're not getting any air underneath. There is none. Air's coming from you spinning that thing like mad. So when we come down to proper technique, pressure or speed, actions have consequences, right? So if you put too much pressure, you're going to drill through your board and you will not get an ember. You'll drill through your board and you won't get an ember. You'll drill through, you do a lot of pressure, you'll drill through the board, you won't get an ember. You do too little pressure and you won't build up enough heat. So you give it a little bit of pressure and a lot of speed. A lot of speed. Okay? A lot of speed. Little pressure, a lot of speed. You get the ember, I guarantee you. Alright? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop this video because we are now out of time here with this video. And the next video is going to be a re-upload of a video I did a number of years ago discussing the Bowdrill and the spindle and the hearthboard and all that, and then I drew a bunch of stuff on the whiteboard for you, okay? And then we'll come back again. We'll come back again. We'll continue this for a couple videos, and then hopefully that will help everybody to get their Bowdrill sorted. Alright? So see you later.